Hello people, I've got another recording for you today. This recording is on the basis of my experience the other night. Transition and shift, I'm going to call it. You may relate to my experience, or to this experience, excuse me. Right, so before I go ahead, I'm going to read my mission statement, which is what this channel is about. This channel is supported by God based on my experience of witchcraft and the awakening process over time, past and present. The practice of witchcraft is real and affects many people's lives in terms of physical health, emotional and mental health, substance misuse, alcoholism, financial difficulties within this timeline. I am calling these entities out into the open to express their actions towards the vulnerable, the innocent, and those unaware of their actions. These people, demonic entities' behaviour are of old. Support is offered to entities who rebuke the dark, wanting to return to the light. God continues his protection of the chosen and individuals of the light who visit this channel to express themselves and receive support. So, the other night, I experienced not my first transition, but one of many transitions, better known as a shift. Now, I thought to myself that it would probably be a good idea, bearing in mind what this channel is about, is to express how I felt during that transition, during that shift. So you may or may not experience this. Your transitions or your shifts might be completely different, but still, I thought I would express how I actually experience these shifts, really. So so this was the other night, and what happened to me was that I was just sitting quietly, just sitting quiet. I wasn't even watching TV. I was just sitting, contemplating, to be fair. And what had happened to me is that my temperature raised to it was really quite high. I had to put a fan on to actually cool me down, and then what followed after that was buzzing in both my ears in different frequencies, and that was pretty weird, and it has been pretty weird in the other transitions or shifts that I have experienced to date. But in one ear, it was really quite low. Then this ear would go really quite high. This ear then would go low, and this ear would go quite high, which really it's really quite confusing, really. So what happened after that point is that I became really quite confused in terms of what was going on for me at that time. So yeah, there was definitely a confused state that I was actually going through. And then sort of what had happened is that, and this probably went on for maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes. This, like, my ears, buzzing, my temperature up and down. I'm just trying to think what else had happened, really. So that was the main things initially. And then I felt really, really quite tired. And so I fell asleep. Now, I'm going to mention this now before I carry on, because there's two issues about sleep. There's one that I tend to fall asleep during these transitions, these shifts, but also in terms of falling asleep, entities also used sleep state to actually prevent chosen ones or people going through the shift from actually completing the process because they fall asleep. So I know that sounds a bit contradictory, but that's just the way it is, because entities do use sleep as an avoidance for people not completing what they're supposed to be doing. And if you've got to this stage within the awakening process, then you should know what I'm talking about here. So I don't think it's anything to worry about, falling asleep, but as long as it's controlled by the right person. Right, so So that was me really. So in the morning when I woke up, I was definitely confused. I can't even say that I remembered exactly what happened the night before, or night before. But what I can remember is that I was definitely confused. Yeah, so I woke up and I was definitely confused, and it took me at least, and this is really quite significant, it took me at least 10 minutes to actually come round and actually to start thinking about what had happened the night before, or the a couple of days before. I was definitely in that. My mind was definitely wiped clean. That's the best way I can say that, really. And so my memories slowly coming back. My memories slowly came back. Yeah, it was definitely a weird experience, really. So, and also, I'm not wanting to create any fear in people who watch this recording, but there was definitely the night before and in the morning there was definitely a demonic presence really, and for me, what had happened is that both the night before and in the morning when I'd woken up, there was demonic presence. For me, is that the demonic presence, I had to think. It was like a really quite a weird feeling in terms of the demonic presence. It was like the demonic presence was asking me questions that were really quite, what you asking me that for, in opposed to the awakening process, which was really quite refreshing, really quite calming. I didn't have to worry. So what I'm saying is, if you have to think about what you have to say in terms of the shift and anything like that, and it doesn't feel right, then it's not right. But if it feels calming, if it feels open, no threat, then that is the feeling that you should go for. Okay, right. Certainly, after waking up in the morning and being in that confused state, as my memory started to come back, I had this really quite calm feel in terms of that experience, and I was definitely in harmony with myself as I sort of came out of that confused state. I also had a feeling that everything in my life is going to be okay, but recognized, or you need to recognize, that even though you've got this calm feeling, there's always going to be a threat, a demonic threat. So I've got here that storms will continue. Spiritual warfare. So storms, spiritual warfare will continue. But, the process itself for me, despite the confusion, was really quite straightforward, really. Another thing that you need to rely on during these transitions, these shifts, is that you must rely on your intuition. Your intuition is key to all these experiences, really, because it's your intuition that's been through it before. It's your intuition that actually knows what the processes are that you should follow. So it's always rely on your intuition and also your inner self, really. So in fact, the intuition and your inner self, you can say, is one of the same. I couldn't call it a tool. Also, which I found really quite useful, is that when you get a nudge to actually look at your angel numbers, do so, because it's your angel numbers that actually clarify things for you in terms of what is actually happening. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't actually matter if you're going through a transition and you're actually on your phone or whatever you're doing. Stop and look up your angel numbers. And the way you look up it, the way you get your angel numbers, you get a nudge. you know that it's an angel number, and you know you need to go and have a look at it. So that is, again, it's another useful tool to sort of to let you know that everything's going to be all right, and that you're on the right path, and so yeah. Going through this transition also is for people that are at a particular stage, is that your generational curses are being broken. So everybody, most families have generational curses, really. So at this point, most of them are being broken. Right, this is really quite important also, is that you are aware by now that God cannot give you all the information in terms of what's going on in terms of your transitions, what's going on in terms of your plans, future plans for yourself. And and the reason for that is entities also have a skill in terms of, entities also have a skill. If they can actually put things into your mind, and they can actually recall things from your past, that means that they are actually able to retrieve things from your mind. So if God, for example, gives you all the information that you need before a transition, there's a good likelihood that they're going to get retrieved. So I'll just put here, you are aware by now. God cannot give you all the information. This is because you may put your mission in jeopardy. The key here, you must listen carefully to the information given to you. Consider, I'm just going to repeat myself here, consider this, entities are able to recall past memories from your mind. If you were given all the information, your mission, what do you think would happen? And that's really quite straightforward, isn't it? That if you got all the information before your transition, and the entities then retrieve that from you, then obviously that's quite a serious breach in terms of what's actually going on for you at that particular time. So again, listen to the information given to you and relax. You are safe, and trust in God's timing. Listen to this recording again if you need to. And also, God has never failed, and he will not fail you now, really. So basically, relax, trust, and relax and trust, and then and go for your transition. So this is going to be a quick recording today. I'll just make sure that I've given you everything. Again, people, I am looking for subscriptions, a like and a comment, please. If you are resonating with the information that I'm giving, please consider that whilst you're watching the recording. I really wanted to take this channel in areas that are going to be beneficial for other people that are going through this, the awakening, or having experiences with witchcraft. And the only way I can do that is by asking you for a like, a comment, and most definitely a subscription. I should be back soon. Have a good day. Bye bye.